Alright, so this is the second time I recorded this video because I forgot to make sure the audio was right, and the audio just wasn't there. But anyway, this intro is going to be really rough because it already has been rough. But anyway, I usually do versus edits like Cobra Kai. That was the old one. I kind of moved on from Cobra Kai because the show ended. And then I did, some Outer Banks, Stranger Things, and then did some DC stuff, DC and Marvel. It didn't, but I really wanted to do some more long form videos because, I just feel like the versus edits I'm kind of just getting bored of, which, I'll still try to do them and stuff like that. But I think I'm going to focus more heavily on the long form videos as long as they do well and people like them. But anyway, today I'm going to be fancasting the Teen Titans for James Gunn's DC universe. The tricky part about this is picking the team because, there have been hundreds of different iterations of the Teen Titans, like the OG5, the Sidekicks, or the Teen Titans cartoon from 2008, which is really good, by the way. But I've decided on doing the current, kind of the current lineup in the comics, but just kind of replacing some characters or taking out some characters, kind of making them out. And first up, I feel like the most obvious choice is Damian Wayne. I'm joking. I don't think Damian should be on the Teen Titans for the first movie. I think he should just be Bruce's permanent Robin, and then maybe eventually down the line join the Titans. But what we all know, the obvious real answer, Dick Grayson, Robin/Nightwing. Feel like he'll probably be Nightwing by then, just because Damian's supposed to be introduced by then. But for my pick for Nightwing, really basic pick. I think everyone's, picked him by now. Mason Thames. My opinion, from what I've seen him in, he could pull off the character's personality pretty well. Kind of like is currently 18, but by the time Brave and the Bold, the Titans movie comes out, he'll probably be around 20 to 22, which is about Nightwing's age when he becomes Nightwing. Around that age. According to Google, Mason's in between 5'7" and 5'10". He's probably about 5'8", 5'9", but Google did not give a specific answer. And Nightwing is usually around 5'10", so Mason, he fits the height category pretty well. And if they have to do some camera action or just put him, get some thick shoes to give him some height, they can do that. And if I'm being for real, they're probably not going to cast Mason. They're going to cast some unknown actor that is better than any casting that any of us have chosen, because that's probably what they're going to do for any of these characters. But anyway, second up, we have Walker Scobell as Wally West. In the movies and shows I've seen him in, he usually plays some comedic roles. He still has a little heart to him. I've only really seen him in season 1 of Percy Jackson and the Adam Project. Percy Jackson season 2, I could not watch. I just couldn't get into it. One of my friends told me I should get into it, but I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. And Walker, I think Walker has also said he wants to play Wally. So you always love when the actors are enthusiastic about playing the characters, because that means they're gonna bring their all to the role. So that's really cool. And one thing I really want from the DCU Titans is the relationship between Nightwing and Wally, because that's one of my favorite parts about the comics and Young Justice is their relationship, is them two just being best friends. And Walker is about 17, which is a year younger than Mason, but again, by the time the movie comes out, they're all gonna be in their 20s. And I'm also pretty sure Walker and Mason are friends in real life, but I don't know that for sure. And also, I know people want Wally in the Justice League. I do not care. Wally's going to be on the Titans, and maybe eventually he can join the league, when a crisis event's happened or when Barry dies, but way far down, because I think Wally should just be on the Titans, because I want him to be on the Titans, so he's going to be on the Titans. And third up, we have Raven. And I know everyone wants Jenna Ortega or Mikey Madison to play Raven, but I don't think they could do it. And I don't honestly like Jenna Ortega as an actress very much. I don't know, I didn't like Wednesday very much, that's probably why. But I have Madeline McGraw, which in my opinion would make a great Raven. I've only seen her in, Black Phone 1 and 2. But in those movies, her character has some similarities to Raven, like her relationship with her dad in the first movie, And in the second movie, she was given heavy Raven vibes, in my opinion. And the way I want there to be a specific dynamic between the characters. Like, I want Dick and Wally to kind of be the older brothers of the group, because, you know, they were part of the original 5 Sidekick team, and then, you know, Raven and Beast Boy and etc. All them are kind of the newbies coming into the new lineup. But I want, you know, maybe Raven to be like a kind of look at Tonight and Wally as older brothers, which also really works because Madeline and Mason played siblings in the Black Phone, which is kind of funny. And fourth up, I have Dallas Dupree Young as Aqualad. And I know y'all are gonna be like, what about Cyborg? What about Cyborg? I like Aqualad better than Cyborg. I'm not a big Cyborg guy. Maybe Cyborg can, you know, join later on. I don't know. But I'm gonna have Aqualad on the team, specifically the Jackson Hyde version. I would do Calderon, but Calderon's kind of specific to Young Justice, so I'm doing Jackson Hyde. And honestly, I think he could pull off the character pretty well, you know, because of his performance in Cobra Kai. I didn't like him at the beginning of Cobra Kai, but he grew on me as a character. And, you know, I feel like he could pull off the conflict pretty well with his dad being Black Manta, and the conflict between, you know, following after his dad or becoming a good guy, which could low-key be the plot of Teen Titans, but we all know it's not. It's probably going to be Judas Contract, or probably just Judas Contract, because that's the only good Teen Titans story, according to anybody who makes movies, even though it's not. There's other good stories, but Judas Contract's probably the most popular. And we all know Deathstroke, you know, the freaking, A minor. And Dallas is about 19, which is close in age with Madeline McGraw and Beast Boy. And speaking of Beast Boy, I hope I do not butcher his name, but Malachi Barton, who is currently 18, which is a year older than Madeline, who is 17. And also, I feel like he could pull off the comedic elements of Beast Boy. And, like, he literally played a character named Beast in Stuck in the Middle, which is an underrated show, by the way. And finally, for Starfire, I don't have a freaking clue who could be Starfire. She's literally I just don't know. So, anyway, in conclusion, what I've taken from this, and what I hope y'all all taken from this, is this Fancasting video is pretty much pointless, because they're going to pick actors that are better than anything we could ever imagine. And, yeah, anyway, like and subscribe, and see y'all in the next video.